Shalom, shalom. Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, wherever you are. What an opportunity, what a great opportunity that our Father has granted us today. We are blessed. And I've always said that we are blessed because God is in this day. And this day is a wonderful one. Because again, God is in it. All right. Okay. And that is why we've got to know Him better than we knew Him yesterday. In First Chronicles chapter 17, from verse 7, where God was speaking to the prophet Nathan. Okay, he spoke to prophet Nathan that he should go and tell his servant David, go and speak to David because of what David had decided to do. He felt like, God, how can your ark dwell in tents while I dwell in the house made of cedars? And God now was moved by that heartfelt, the compassion of David. It's like he's thinking what God is thinking about, or he's concerned about God. Do you see now? When this thing is based on relationship, this cannot just happen. You just feel like, what is God thinking right now? What does He want? Like, you're not thinking about yourself alone, but you're thinking about what God might desire that moment. And so you're concerned by His ways, what His desires. And this is what I'm talking about. Because it's how we get to know God. So God is known through the ways of God. Through the ways of God. You know that this person knows God. So if we do not care about His ways, then it is a sign that we don't know God. And no wonder you look into the story of kings of the Israelites and you find David, class number one, because of his heart. The Bible, of course, teaches that he was a man after God's heart. In other words, he was concerned about the heart of God. He wanted to know the heart of God. And when he knew it, he was now like, oh God, you deserve something beautiful. You deserve something because that's who you are. See, now it's a way of worship. He's worshiping God by desiring to do what is in line with what he discovered that God is like. See now? So God is speaking to Nathan. He's contextualizing everything and telling Nathan that go and tell my servant David that I'm so pleased, I'm happy because I enthroned him, David, and led him, stood by his side, drove away all his enemies. And now tell him that I'm going to make his name among the greatest in the earth. And his name will be known in the earth. And guess what? It is known now. It is known, like God had said. And I'll provide a place for my people Israel and will plant them. Now God said, I'm going to plant my people. Provide a place, plant them, so that they can have a home of their own and no longer be disturbed. So God is promising a lasting peace. And no wonder after this reign of David, his son, for 40 years, there was peace, total peace. And God was strengthening the kingdom of Israel as He had said to His servant David. So God didn't want them to be disturbed again. Amen. Again, this is based on one man's heart who desired to do exactly what is in the will, in the ways of God. So He says, wicked people will not oppress them anymore, as they did at the beginning, and have done ever since the time I appointed leaders over my people Israel. So God knew that these people have been oppressing my people. Why? Because even my people did not allow me to stand by their side in order to defend them. But now this is a man who understands my ways, and that gives me a legal, it's not just legal, but allows me to freely do what I have to do to keep my people safe, protect them, build them, establish them, and raise them and strengthen them. I will also subdue all your enemies. See now, that don't worry about your enemies anymore. Because of this, I will deal with any of your enemies. Every enemy, every person that declares enemy against you is in danger, is in trouble, is doomed. You see now, this is the beautiful thing. Once you discover the ways of God and you're just moved by the ways of God, these are things you find God. You will see these things operating or functional. That is one of the ways you activate these things, because, man, this is unique. Like I said, not everybody is concerned by God's heart. They don't care about God's heart. Now in verse, I declare to you that the Lord will build a house for you. And it's interesting. I declare to you that the Lord will build a house for you. So you're not the one who's going to build it. God will build it. When your days are over and you go to be with your ancestors, now David is being told that you are not the one who's going to build this house. But once you are gone and you're gone to be with your ancestors, I will raise up your offspring to succeed you. Okay? I will raise up your offspring to succeed you, one of your own sons, and I will establish his kingdom. So God is saying, because of what you have done now, you have allowed the next generation to enjoy what they never worked for. But because of this, I am going to raise one of your offspring, one of your sons, and I will establish his kingdom. Now, the kingdom is not going to be established because of that son. The kingdom is going to be established because of you. Because you see, when you study later, when Solomon was enthroned, Solomon in the beginning he prayed to God, and God gave him wisdom and understanding and honor and riches. Later he married 1,000, in fact 300 women and 700 concubines, or 700 and 300 concubines. Actually he had 1,000 women, and most of these women were not necessarily Israelites. So he had a strategy to marry the daughters of the kings that were close to Israel in order to make peace with them. So now you couldn't attack your in-law. So that was the strategy of Solomon. So, but later you see these women came with their gods, and they began to build shrines on the mountains, and they began to worship false gods, strange gods. So you study and find that in the reign of Solomon, witchcraft and idolatry was reintroduced, and of course later after him, it was worse. All right. So, but during his kingdom, he reigned until the 40 years were over. And that's why I'm saying it wasn't based on what he was doing, because if it was based on what he was doing, it won't last, because of what he had introduced in Israel. And all the marrying 1,000 wives, that was also terrible. But again, terrible in terms of what the chaos it brought to the kingdom. But what I'm saying here is that imagine that all that is happening later is based on this very, very incident. Well, God is saying that I will stand with you and also with your son who is going to replace you. All right? Well, by the time you've gone to live with your ancestors, to be with your ancestors. Imagine that what you have done is generational. It goes beyond your generation and will affect the next generation. This is marvelous. And God is saying, I'm going to establish his kingdom. So David, when David was about to die, he was so assured of the success of the kingdom that his son will be reigning, and he was assured that it will be established. He went to live, to be with his ancestors with joy and happiness, because he knew. Because you see, the success is never called a success until there's a successor. And it seems that there are things which we should focus on in our time, so that even the successors will find it easier, or that will be more easier for the successors to come in. He is the one who will build a house for me, and I will establish his throne forever. My God. Verse 13, I will be his father, and he will be my son. I will never take my love away from him. See now? No matter what he will do, actually, I will never take away my love from him. Otherwise, it couldn't last, like I said, as I took it away from your predecessor. Because during the reign of Saul, King Saul, well, the presence of God was no more upon him. And he lived for so long without the presence of God, and how he ended his life was terrible. So, but God is saying, no matter what, my presence will remain with your son, and just because of you, I will set him over my house and my kingdom forever. His throne will be established forever. If you are a parent or an old man and you had your moment of reigning and you are so special, and you hear such words, God saying that he will establish your son and establish him, and his throne will be there forever, and God will not take away his presence like he did to his predecessor. That is so, boy, what a joy. Yes, he didn't build the house. I want to close with this. He didn't build the house. God said, your son will do it for me. But you know, my intention and the purpose of what we're talking about here is simple. Knowing the ways of God. He's only desiring to do it. He didn't do it. But just the fact that you desired to do it, things are going to happen. It's about the heart and the intentions of your heart. Very important. They matter to God. That's knowing God and his ways. When you don't neglect what is going through in your heart, God is able to see it. Shalom, shalom.